that process?
Bro, for me, the college process, bro, was a lot more stressful than I wish it would have been. Like, it was because, you know, I mean, like I said, playing with the top quarterback, one of the top quarterbacks in the nation at the time. You know, like I said, B. Cox was, it was 4, maybe 5-star recruit. So, you know what I mean? That's bringing in a lot of schools. Like, we had Division I schools coming to Arundel to look at Billy all the time. And, you know, they coming to see Billy, but they're like, all right, who is he throwing to? Feel me? So they said he was throwing to me. But my knock in high school was I was just so slow. You know what I mean? I was slow. Like, I ain't had that top end speed that Farrell had. So, like, a lot of colleges was turned off to me. So, you know, in my head, I'm putting up these numbers. You know, I'm making all state, all county. I'm thinking I'm going, you know what I mean? I think I'm going ACC at least, you know what I mean? Like, but them schools was turned off to my speed. So, you know what I mean? I started focusing more on Division I AA. And I had a few D1 AA offers. And, you know, I had Towson. That was right here at home. I didn't want to go to Towson because Towson was too close to home. You know what I mean? I took an official visit to Towson, actually. And while I was on my official visit, you know, I'm seeing people from my high school, people from around the area, from around the way. You know what I mean? Like, yo, like, this ain't really what college is about. You know what I mean? College, you want to go somewhere different, meet new people, experience new things. And then late in the recruiting process, University of New Hampshire came in, and they came to, I remember the head coach of UNH came to a basketball practice. This was my senior year. He came to a basketball practice, and he saw me in practice. And I seen a football coach come in, so I just start yamming everything. I'm just dunking in practice, throwing it off the. And he like, oh, this dude athletic.
Hold on. Wait a minute. So you mean to tell me he came in there and you turned into Vince Carter?
To VC, bro. Everything. Couldn't shoot a lick.
All right, well, let's get back
but
to it.
I'm dunking everything, bro.
You banging everything.
Everything, fool. And the dude, he was like, oh, yeah, RJ Athletic, let's offer him right now. So they gave me an offer. So then I started doing my researches. You know what I mean? I'm looking up University of New Hampshire. You know what I mean? Spread no huddle team. I'm like, as a receiver, spread no huddle. You know what I mean? Hey, that's what you want. You know what I mean? As a running back, you want to go to a team that's going to run the eye. As a receiver, you want to go to a team that's going to spread it out and air it out. And I was like, you know, New Hampshire. I looked at their stats. I looked at their numbers. Yeah,
like New Hampshire, yo. Like, I'm thinking about it. When I'm looking at this, I'm like, New Hampshire. Man, that's a ways out there. What's the vibe in New Hampshire? Did you go on an official visit there, or what was it about New Hampshire? What happened?
I went on a visit, bro, and like it was crazy because both of my hosts were from Maryland. Both of them. And they were both older dudes. So one of them went to a school in Baltimore. I forgot what school my man went to. He went to a little school down in Baltimore. And then my other host, my man Dontre, he went to Old Mill. You know what I mean? He ended up going to Old Mill. So I'm like,
played for Millersville back in the day. I know Dontre. Played for Millersville back in the day.
Yeah, played for Millersville. Yeah, Dontre. So I'm like, you know what I mean? He's rapping to me just now, a new old head, like giving me game, putting me on what it's like at New Hampshire. And I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, it's different. Obviously, you know, you think of New Hampshire, it's completely different from where we are, you know what I mean? As far as,
exactly.
You know what I mean? It's 99% white in New Hampshire. You know what I mean? The only black students that you will find at our university are the athletes. You know what I mean?
It was on the team.
It was on the team. It's either basketball or football, and then you have a couple, maybe, you know what I mean, couple black students that came up from Boston, but it's not too much. So it was definitely a transition. And my first year and a half, it was tough, like transitioning. Like I just didn't, you know what I mean? I didn't fit in, you know what I mean? Like it was hard. But once I kind of got over that and just refocused back on football, and from there everything took off. It was a wrap.
I was gonna say it seems like when you got to New Hampshire, it was like you really found yourself in the sport. You know what I'm saying? Like I kind of gathered that you was working a little bit harder than the next man. You really saw that you could really, you know what I mean, be a pro. Yeah. So like, what was that moment that it kind of went through your brain that you could probably turn the corner and be a pro? Like, what was that point?
Let's see. I'd probably say it was probably my June, after my sophomore year. So after my red shirt sophomore year. So I was a junior in school, but I was a sophomore on the field. and we were having junior, so it's a junior day. It's kind of like a pro day. So the dudes, my matter of fact, my man Dontre, he had his agent come up, and NFL teams were coming to test his 40. And while they were talking to him, they were like talking to me on the side, like, all right, you're next up. Like, we're coming back to see you in a couple of years. You know what I mean? You keep doing this production, having this production you're having. He was like, we'll be back. So I'm thinking they blowing smoke. You know what I mean? Just talking good. But then when I came to realize Chip Kelly started at University of New Hampshire. He's from New Hampshire. He went to University of New Hampshire. He coached there. He did all that spread, no huddle stuff that they do at Oregon. He did at New Hampshire first.
Okay.
So Chip Kelly himself came up to me. He introduced himself to me at a spring game. I was hurt at the time. I wasn't playing. He introduced himself to me, and he told me, he was like, look, you're on the radar for the NFL teams. Like, teams know you. They know who you are. I know who you are. We seen your tape. We seen your film. Like, teams like you. You know what I mean? Like, and that's when hearing it from him, you know what I mean? Someone like more personal, like that I'm personal with, like him being a UNH guy, that's when it really set in for me, like, oh, like you got a real chance at this. And from there, you know what I mean? I just, like I said, every year I just focused in more and more, locked in, and it started taking it more serious.
Right. That's what's up, man. I ask that now because I'm gonna get to the other question. What was the point where you wanted to quit? Because I know with every triumph, it's a point where you came to the point where in school, not even before you hit to the pros, I know it was a point where you wanted to quit. What point was that, and what did you have to do to get yourself out of the funk, or what was it that got you out of that?
Let's see, man. It was a couple times up there at New Hampshire I wanted to quit, dog. A couple times. I'm telling you, I talked to Mark one time, and I was set on coming home. I was set on transferring to Bowie State. Like, I was set. Like, my mind was made up, and it was just like talking to the boys back home. You know what I mean? They telling me like, nah, bro, stick it out, don't do that. You're gonna regret that. You're gonna regret that. You're gonna regret that. And I'm like, you know what? You know what I mean? I had that conversation. I'm like, yo, y'all right, bro. Let me stick this out. You feel me? So I was like, you know what? You right. I'm gonna stick it out. And sticking it out was probably the first decision of many that I made, but that was probably the best one. The first time that I decided to stick it out. But, you know, after that, I dealt with football stuff, injuries. I got hurt. I had 3 knee surgeries. In 5 years.
In school? In college?
In college. I had 3 knee surgeries. I tore my MCL and my meniscus. I had microfracture surgery. I had tore my MCL and my other knee. And I was just, you know what I mean? I was going under the knife. And, you know what I mean? You keep doing that, it's like, you know what I mean?
Start to
I'm
set
only
in a
in
little
college
bit.
now. I haven't even made it out of college. And I'm doing this, you know what I mean? Like, I'm doing this to my body. So that's kind of where I was at. And I was thinking, like, do I want to do this? But I'm like, yo, I've been doing this my whole life now. Like, why quit now? To see how far you can push it. Feel me? So I just kept going, bro. And then, like I said, my senior year came around. I was fresh. I was healthy. You know, I had just came off of surgery after my junior year. I ended up breaking my hand. Matter of fact, you can still see the scar right there. I lost my knuckle. I don't got a knuckle there. I had broke my hand. I had surgery on it, and but that was the worst thing I had going into my senior year was just a little hand. So I was good, and I went out senior year, and we just took it to a whole nother level, bro. I was a whole nother level. And that's when I really turned up. I set records. at UNH that year. I broke Jerry Rice, because Jerry Rice played Division I AA, and I broke his receptions record in college.
So you think you nicer than Jerry because you broke a little. Let me tell you something, man. Hey, that's Jerry Rice, man. You feel me? Man caught 1 million passes.
Hey, go look at the record books, bro. In college, Jerry Rice listen, I'm telling you, Jerry Rice had 300 catches in college. I had 310.
Okay.
It's in there. It's online, bro.
Okay. All right. We're going to check that. You know we're going to check that. Hey, make sure we check that, yo.